Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
What is going on, team? Every time I make this podcast, I always think, you know what? I think it's time I change the intro song. But then every time I put it in, I get pumped up and excited. So I hope you guys are excited for this episode. We have Client Liv hopping on as a special guest. She has had quite the journey this last 6 months, losing over 25 pounds. So I'm excited for you guys to hear her story. So let's get into it. All right, 3, 2, 1. We in it, folks, and I got Client Liv with me.
Hey.
How are you doing, Liv?
So good.
I'm excited to have you on today.
I'm super pumped. Feeling
I
awesome.
feel like we've been talking about this for weeks.
Yeah.
So, FYI, Liv had a small window in her work schedule and literally just showed up to the gym here at 11 a.m. We haven't really debriefed. I was like, come into my office. Let's go. Let's do this.
Hop right in.
So, we're going to talk about Liv's awesome journey these last 6 months, which I'm excited for you guys to hear. And before we get into this, we always start our podcast with a banter topic. And I wanted to discuss your early stages of CrossFit.
Okay.
So when I got to meet you, do you know how old you were? How old are you right now, by the way?
Oh, God. That should be like a no-go on this, on this podcast. I am 27 years old.
I met you when you were a little baby.
Maybe like 17?
17.
16, 17. Let's go with that.
Okay. And I met you at the old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
A gym called Coexist CrossFit, which is unfortunately not around anymore.
Yeah, super sad.
But when you were working out, you were when I got to meet you, you were just coming out of the teens class or no?
Yeah, I started when I was 14.
Okay.
I had a friend's mom who started CrossFit.
So this is 13 years of you doing CrossFit.
Sure is.
Oh,
yeah.
Snap.
Yeah.
Did we start we pretty much probably started the same time then.
Must have been.
Just different gyms.
Yeah. I started at YUL.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I started at 14. My friend's mom had kind of dabbled in it a little bit and then kind of got the addiction going and was like,
she drank the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. And she got her daughter in on it. And then, I got in on it. Amy got in on it, who, anybody doesn't know, Amy and I are kind of like
you guys are one person.
We are one person, the BFF of BFFs.
Yeah.
So if we're doing something, it's going to be together. And I don't know, we just started and fell in love with it.
Were you guys did straight to group class, or did you guys do like a special program for your age category?
Yeah, so it started off as a teen type class.
Okay.
But that concept was relatively new. Like back in the day, they didn't even really have like teen divisions in the open or teen, modifications or weights or anything like that.
RX
yeah.
or nothing.
Yeah.
You're like 14 years old. You're like, no, 135 on the bar.
Yeah. And there wasn't a teen class at the gym. We basically, it was just us, it was 4 or 5 of us who just were friends and started out that way.
And of the 4 or 5 of you, only 2 of you are still doing CrossFit?
So only 2 of us are still doing CrossFit.
Shout out Amy and you.
Shout out Amy, but special shout out to Jody Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Because she is the mama who got her daughter involved and got us involved way back
cool.
when.
Okay. If I'm not, Jody has 2 daughters or 3?
Just 2 daughters.
2 daughters?
Yeah.
And is this the one that's a doctor now?
Yeah, sure is.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shoot, the doctor stopped CrossFit.
I know, listen.
No, we'll have to talk to Jody's daughter then, get her back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you started, everything was pretty much new back then. And even the coaches didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and I remember like that first CrossFit feeling where you did a workout and I could not walk for days.
Okay.
Days and
It's
days.
probably a savage workout too. Back then there were only savage workouts.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a running clock on, 28-minute AMRAP. You're gonna do heavy barbell with high skill gymnastics, followed by 1,000 burpee buyout. Like,
Yeah, and then show up tomorrow and do it all again.
Yeah. And then we shame you if you don't show up tomorrow. Was there any like contemplation of you not going back? Did you, like, you had your good buddy Amy?
Yeah.
Did you guys have conversations about like, why are we doing this? Or was one of you thinking like, maybe we shouldn't go back, and the other one convinced? Like, talk to me about that.
So
dynamic.
okay, so I mean, in the first few years we were pretty consistent. I think we were only doing it once a week. It was like a weekend activity. And then really when I got into like grade 11 and starting CEGEP, when my schedule became more flexible, I was like in it. I was like, I love this. I'm coming, you know, 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as you know, COVID hit, and everything stopped. And it was then getting back into CrossFit after COVID. There was a lot of back and forth of, should I do it? Should I not do it? I want to do something, but that's a big commitment and it's intense. And I'd rather just do a half-ass lazy workout at home and call it a day.
Gotcha. And that's where we come in.
Yeah.
But I think, so it must have been like when you're about 17-ish when I got to meet you and Amy. You guys were doing the group classes. And I just remember thinking that was so cool because you were probably the first younger, I guess, kids or athletes that I ever saw doing CrossFit. Before it was always adults. And usually I was the youngest.
Yeah.
When I had started, I was 19, 20. And when I met you, I think I was probably closer to 21. So that was, to me, it was so cool that there was these 16, 17-year-old girls jumping in with all these adults doing this CrossFit thing. And I thought that was the freaking coolest thing ever. So obviously I had left that gym because I got an actual job opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah.
You stayed at that gym, and like you said, COVID hit and it really affected many gyms.
Yeah.
And then, years later, I knew that Coexist closed, and I knew that there was a lot of athletes from that gym that never really went back to CrossFit.
Yeah.
So, Susie and I were like, we got to message all these people. Like, it's time to get them back into CrossFit.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
We know they love it.
And I remember specifically telling Susie, like, oh my God, like, I'm going to, like, I wrote to Amy and Liv, like, I think, like, and she's like, who are those people? Because Susie had no idea who you were. And I was like, oh, there's these two, like, really awesome girls. I don't even know how old they are. They must be, like, roughly 20 years old, but I was so off by then. I was like, I don't remember. I remember them just being super young and super fun and having a good energy in the group classes. Because I remember both of you would always, no matter how hard the workout was, both of you were always smiling.
Yeah.
And I thought that was always really cool. Everyone kind of has their own personality, but then they have their workout personality.
Yeah. It's a different vibe.
Yeah. But I felt like you and Amy were always just super positive after the workout, no matter how hard it was. And I remember Coexist, we would do some like stupidly hard workouts.
Yeah. I remember like it was 7 minutes of burpees.
Yeah.
And just see how many burpees you can do in 7 minutes with no rest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ironically, we have 5-minute burpee tests today.
Of course we do. I'm so glad I'm not working out today.
But that being said, I remember like Steve was the owner at Coexist, and he would do all the programming. And again, like that was the days where you would just program savage workouts, like lots of volume, heavy weights. And it would be like, all right, guys, there's this workout called Karen where you do 150 wall balls. And it was like, we're doing 200 wall balls, we're doing 250 wall balls, and we're going
something else.
Yeah, and like every 3 minutes the timer beeps, you're gonna go and do like, I don't know, 1,000 double unders or something, crazy. But yeah, I always remember you guys having a good time, and I remember getting excited when I told Susie, because we're, you're starting a business and you're reaching out and like, who the hell is gonna come to our gym? And those are like if you're building your foundation clients, you're like, who's the community gonna look like?
Yeah.
And I thought I was so excited when you guys had written back, okay, like we'll come try it out and stuff. And I think you guys got a 10 punch card at the beginning. You didn't get a membership at the beginning. You got a 10 punch card. I think it probably took you guys at least a couple months before getting a membership.
It took us a while. I remember, when we started back, we were in a completely different point in our lives. I was working full time. Amy was working full time. Yeah. It's a very different schedule than trying to navigate with school. And, we thought it was all that we could handle to do. Just a little 10 punch card and, go from there.
Could come once a week.
Yeah.
Which brings up a good point. So many people are like that.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, I have this busy schedule. I'm working full time now. Like, how am I gonna? I just don't have the time. And now that no one has time.
Yep.
Everyone makes the time.
You make the time.
Yeah. You prioritize things. You make the time for it. And yeah. So that for the little bit of the banter topic, I wanted to talk about your early CrossFit experiences and stuff. And I remember just really enjoying. We didn't have that much time together early on because I remember you guys were obviously didn't have the same schedules at the time, but I did get to do like maybe a few months of training with you on and off, maybe once a week here and there. But then I obviously got that job opportunity to go coach somewhere else, so I went, and yeah, so it was kind of cool moment when you guys came to the gym, and then just slowly roped in. Slowly, all right, let's get a 2 times a week membership. Did you go the whole series? Did you go from like 10 punch card to 2 times?
I think I did 10 to 2, and then I think I went straight from 2 to the unlimited.
Okay, so you didn't even get the 3 times.
I didn't get to 3 times.
Like, screw it. Okay.
Yeah,
fine,
drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, shit, I got to get back into this.
Yeah. Do you notice like any major differences in your fitness from, let's say, now to 10 plus years ago? Obviously, I would imagine you're probably a little bit stronger now.
Yeah.
What are some of the major differences from when you started to now?
I mean, I think strength obviously has fluctuated, I would say, a little bit. But definitely my technique, when you start off, you're just trying to figure out how to move in the right way. And, I remember specifically a lot more minor injuries. I'd wake up the next day and go, oh shit, I pulled my back, or, damn, I did the wall balls and my knees are really killing me tomorrow. And now I don't really feel that. There's also, are we talking about today CrossFit or even 6 months ago CrossFit, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit.
Into that, yeah.
But, cardio increases, strength increases, and I feel like my drive and determination has increased. In the beginning, it was fun, and I was young and I felt strong and I just came and I did it, and then that was it. And now it's like, no, I want to be better than I was yesterday. Okay, so that's interesting. You find the drive to be better is better now than it was back then. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. So let's dive into the last 6 months. This is the juicy part of the episode. And it was a really cool moment we had about a week and a half ago, because Liv came to me about 6 months ago, and she was talking about wanting to lose some weight and, having trouble like with that whole process and stuff. I would probably say the typical person who's like, I'm trying to lose weight and I feel like I'm doing everything, but I can't quite get it. Yeah. And, she was asking me like, how long is this process going to take and all those things. And I was like, well, Liv, like, I want to get to a point where you fire me as a nutrition coach. Like, my job is not to keep you on as a client forever. I want you to get to a point where you're in a role, you have some momentum, you have the knowledge, and you know what tools to use. And then I want you to fire me. And about 10-ish days ago, spoiler alert,
we had that moment where I was like, Liv, I think this is the moment. You have the option. I mean, I can keep going if you want, but it's been about 6 months now. You've hit a huge milestone, which again, we'll get into. But I think that moment is now. And you're like, I'm going to fire you.
Sure did.
And it was the best firing I've ever had in my life. I don't know if I've actually ever been fired before.
Well, I can promise you I have never fired someone before. So
yes. So talk to me about, let's rewind 6 months ago. Talk to me about that whole process. You wanted to hire me as a nutrition coach. So talk to me about what was going on in your head, what was going on in your body, your thought process, and all the things going on in your life.
Yeah. I mean, 6 months ago, this all really started because actually my little puppy, my dog, was overweight. And I needed to weigh him every couple of weeks. So I hopped on the scale myself and then would pick him up and put him on the scale. And the first time I did it, I didn't love the number that I saw.
Because you had to weigh yourself first.
Yeah.
And then you would get on the scale and weigh both of you together.
Yeah. And then subtract my weight to know how much he weighed.
Yeah.
And I didn't love the number on the scale, and it kind of set in this little, feeling of panic of, oh, that's not what I thought that would be. And then maybe it was, a couple of months of watching the number and being intentional, or so I thought, about, okay, I'm going to, be more cautious. I'm going to be more conservative. But the number kept going up, and not down.
So it wasn't even like staying the same. It was actually going up.
It was actually going up.
And it wasn't the dog.
And it wasn't the dog, although poor little fellow's still struggling. He needs to come see Coach B.
Oh, yeah. All right. You fired me, but I'll take on your dog.
Yeah. And I didn't like the way that my clothes were fitting. And I felt just bloated and sluggish and tired. And I kind of said, okay, I'll keep trying. And then a couple months went by and I was like, I feel like I have a good foundation, but clearly something is not working. So let me get some help and figure out what to do.
And here I am.
And here we are.
Hey, Liv, it's me. It's Coach B. I'm the one to help you out. And I think it took a little bit of convincing.
Yeah. It did a little bit, and I definitely was hesitant in the beginning, not because I didn't think it would work, but because I didn't know the process. And I personally have a lot of thoughts and opinions about weight in general, and about healthy ways to lose weight, and about maintaining a weight that's healthy for your body and what that looks like. And I didn't know how, you as a nutrition coach taught nutrition. And at first I was like, is he going to tell me to do this extreme program where it's quick and dirty, and then
quick and dirty? I like that.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to
such good marketing tools there.
I'm going to gate this weight right back, and it's not going to be a healthy way of losing weight. And so, yeah, it took a little while to really see, like, okay, there's trust in this. Like, I can trust that, obviously what you're doing, but that you're doing it in a way that I feel comfortable with.
So the process was pretty straightforward at the beginning. We meet every 2 weeks.
Yep.
We meet every 2 weeks, and then, I give you a little bit of homework to do. We assess, we make small changes. This is more like a very personalized nutrition approach.
Yeah.
Right. There's, you can help people on a mass level, but if you really want like personalized stuff, like here's my personal situation. This is what my life is like. This is what my work schedule is like. This is what my home life is like. This is what my environment and all these things are like. This is what my social life is like.
Yeah.
Then you need to really dive in a little bit more. So at the beginning, you just gotta, as a coach, just gathering information. It's just like, hey, I just want you to take a photo of everything you eat for the next 5 days. Just take a photo, make some notes. The more notes you put into it, the better I can understand. And then just asking questions like, okay, like who does the cooking at home? Do you do the cooking? Who are you living with? Those types of things are important, because if I say, hey, you have to cook this, this, and this, but you're telling me, well, mom does most of the cooking for the supper time.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to be a really effective nutrition plan. If I say, hey, you have to eat chicken every single night, chicken, broccoli, and rice, you'd be like, well, I freaking hate chicken. That's not the case.
Or I'm a pescatarian.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out Susie here. Then it's just not going to work, right? You're like, I'm not going to eat that chicken every single night, you know, like maybe your palate's different. Like I love chicken, maybe you don't like chicken, right? So you need to understand who the person is in front of you, and you have to really understand more than what's going on in terms of the food that they're consuming. So at the beginning, we took photos. I mean, not just at the beginning, we took photos throughout the entire 6 months, right? Does it feel weird the last 10 days not taking photos? I can't tell
you how many times I went to go take a picture. I went, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because for pretty much the last 6 months, you've taken multiple photos every single day of your plate.
Yep.
And we've just assessed it every 2 weeks just to kind of, there's a little bit of accountability to that.
Yeah, a lot of accountability for sure.
But then there's also the understanding, because so many times people are like, oh yeah, I ate, just use the more basic example of chicken, broccoli, and rice. But then I see that the chicken was cooked in a lot of oil, and you actually cooked with chicken thighs rather than chicken breast. And, you know, you didn't steam broccoli, you actually fried it with butter. You know, like there's so many nuances. So just seeing a photo really helps me be like, okay, now I see what that is. Hey, how was this cooked? How was this processed? Like, who cooked it? So, and then the quantities as well, right? Because we didn't weigh and measure everything. There were points where I was like, hey, like let's take 2 weeks to measure our protein intake and just see what's going on. But to do that every single day is just like an unsustainable way to live life. So that's what we did at the beginning. We just took photos. Do you remember what that process was like when you took the photos, like the feelings you had and the thoughts that you may have had? I know it's been a while. It's been 6 months, right?
I remember.
Oh,
yeah, I do.
So what was that like?
I remember, I think it was the first, I think it was 3 days or 5 days that you said, we're not changing anything.
Yeah.
Just take a picture.
That's so key, because so many people, they're like, oh, I'm sending photos to the coach, so I'm going to like start eating healthy now. It's like, no, just show me like what you eat.
Yeah. And, even just the concept of taking a picture raises your awareness, because, it's one thing to see what I have on my plate in front of me at one meal and think, not bad. Mm-hmm. But when I look over the span of 5 days and all of those meals together, you really see, well, how balanced am I overall?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna eat this apple with peanut butter and take a picture of it, and I'm gonna send it, and if I'm gonna have the cookie, that's fine, but I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna send it. Full transparency, full honesty, and that adds a level of accountability and a level of questioning too.
Mm-hmm. What were some of the questions that were going on in your mind?
There was a lot of, okay, well, now that I'm taking a picture of it, should I really be eating it? Because, somebody else is going to see that I'm eating 2 cookies after dinner tonight.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of questions around quantities. Like you said, chicken and rice and broccoli. But if you have more rice on your plate than anything else, it's not really going to get the effect that you want it to get. So a lot of questions. Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning, I think when you came to me, you were like, I'm eating really healthy right now. It's just the weight is going up, right? And I'm training. You were doing 3 CrossFit workouts a week here. You were also at home doing 2 like at-home workouts with a
more
friend.
Low-key. Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, okay, I know where I want Liv to get to. I know that I like. There's a process, right? It took 6 months for us to get to that point. Well, maybe not 6 months, but the process of your journey was 6 months in this specific block. Health and fitness is a lifetime journey, and there's going to be fluctuations up and down. But I know where the end point is of getting to the minus 25 pounds, right? To losing that 25. But you got to start slow.
Yeah. Well, I think if you had told me, hey, Liv, we're going to lose about 25, 30 pounds, I probably would have walked out the door.
Yeah.
Said, I cannot do that.
Yeah. And like we started slow, like, hey, what is your goal weight? Do you mind sharing your weight? So what was your starting weight?
My starting weight, we don't actually know officially, because I only weighed myself a couple weeks into starting, but I remember weighing with my dog, and I'm pretty sure I saw 168.
Yeah, gotcha.
It had started at 165, and when it got to 168, I said, this is closer to 170 than it is to 165. And that was kind of my limit.
Yeah. So at the beginning, gathered information, take photos, let me see what's going on. We'll meet next week. And then it allows me to have a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, from a coaching element, you can't just give 1,000 things. You can't just be like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to clean this up, we're going to avoid eating this, we're going to start measuring. Like, it's going to be really, really hard and maybe a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
So you got to try to like simplify it. So now that I've seen and gathered this information, I'm like, all right, what do you think the first thing I saw was? Low in protein. Just low in protein. All right, guess what we're doing, Liv, for the next 2 weeks? We're just going to try to get more protein into our diet for the next 2 weeks. Right? And that was our good starting point at the beginning. And then if I'm not mistaken, after that, we kind of just started leaning more towards whole foods.
Yeah.
Right? So just changing the quality of our food, which was super important because I felt like you were just getting in a lot of extra calories from foods that were just more processed.
Yeah.
Not necessarily foods that were filling you up or anything.
Right.
They were just foods that were the same amount of like, let's say, satiety and stuff like that. This food, if we change it from this food to this food, you're still going to be just as full, but you're going to be getting in 100 less calories here, 100 less calories there. And then overall, that's going to have a huge effect.
Yeah. And they weren't foods that were necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It's not like they were, chocolate and cookies, but, little things like honey and sweetener in your coffee and, crackers instead of an apple are going to make a difference.
Yeah. Making those just small changes. And then not just that, like you're changing it from, let's say, more processed food to like somewhat healthier food. But then not only are we changing the quantity of calories at this point, but we're also changing the nutrients that you're getting from the food, right? Like you're going to get much more like accessible energy that you can use on your day-to-day stuff. You're going to get more energy when you're training. You're going to get better recovery from your workouts. You're going to have better sleeps at night, right? Which is something that at the beginning you had came to me and you were like, man, I have no problem sleeping, but I'm waking up just so exhausted. And like middle of the day, I have no energy. Like I'm just tired all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sleeping. I'm going to bed early. I'm sleeping 8 to 10 hours every single day. And I'm just like exhausted. So changing the quality of your food is just giving you better energy sources. And I feel like really early on within that first like month to 2 months, you were like, wow, my energy is just so much better. Like I'm waking up rested rather than like feeling exhausted.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the big change that we felt almost immediately into the program.
Yeah. First big shift was for sure the energy level.
And, most people, including myself, like have a hard time falling asleep. And you're like, no, like I can fall asleep and I could sleep all day, but I still feel really tired no matter how many hours of sleep I get.
Yeah.
So we just made those slight changes in the quality of the food. You're getting now better energy and better minerals and vitamins and fiber, getting bigger amounts of protein in your meals, right? And then you're waking up feeling like, okay, I can tackle the day now.
Yeah.
Right? I pushed you a little bit on the exercise side of things as well.
Yes, you did.
Talk to me about that process.
So I was working out, I think 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I would do a couple of workouts with a friend. I kind of considered them more of an active recovery type of workout. So nothing too strenuous, but still some movement. And that was about it. And then we sat down and looked at my step count.
Yeah.
And I think it was under 5,000 a day.
And for someone who's training, doing 3 CrossFit workouts, 2 at-home workouts, under 5,000 steps a day is not very much.
No. And, I sit most of my day. The only time I really get up is to go get a toy from our special toy room or walk a client to the door, and then I'm back at my desk for another 45 minutes or an hour. I happen to have a dog who hates going on walks.
Yeah, of course he does.
Because he's a little fatty. And so there wasn't really a need for me to get in some steps.
Okay. And then I pushed you on that.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, we gotta start bumping up those steps here. and we started with some walks.
Yeah.
Started with like, was it 2 walks a week or 3 walks a week?
I think it was 2,
Yeah.
honestly.
I was like, hey, we just gotta put in the headphones, little lunch break. Or I think actually what we started with is I was like, hey, like go for a walk with your mom on the weekend. You know, like just start with a 15 to 30 minute walk once on the weekend and try to get one other walk in the week.
Yeah.
Right. And you were doing pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we have to, and then we actually got our steps we got it to like 6,000-ish, 7,000-ish per day. And then I was like, hey, do we think we can fit in a third, maybe even a fourth walk? And then we almost turned it into almost a daily thing for you, right?
Yeah, it was pretty, 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on the week, is pretty much every day.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So we got your step count up.
Yeah.
Like non-exercise. I mean, maybe you could consider it somewhat of exercise, but like non-CrossFit activity.
Yeah, not strenuous.
Yeah, just getting out there, getting some fresh air, put your headphones on, listen to the CrossFit Max podcast. Just, listen to some tunes midday, eat your lunch and then go out for a walk. It's really good for your digestive system. And you hit that. And for a lot of people, that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
Like it really is a challenge to get out and go for a walk. But walking is like the most underrated tool, especially for fat loss. Like if you want to lose weight and you do sit down for most of the day, which I feel bad we didn't even go into your actual job.
We'll get there.
But if you sit down most of the day and you train CrossFit 3, 4, sometimes even 5 days a week, but that's the only period of exercise, your only period of movement that you're doing in a week, like it's not that much movement. Like you're only burning maybe 400 calories at a CrossFit workout, 500 on a good day. There's so many more calories you burn outside of that. So just getting a little walk in every single day. It's good for fresh air also, good for overall mental health and your mood and things like that. So that was something that you were able to slowly start to implement.
Yeah, I think timing was key too. When I came to you, it was April, May, June. It starts to get nicer outside. There's more of a desire to go outside. And then once you get going, you set those habits. And then when it gets cold outside, I remember you saying, you got to keep at it. Yeah. So I brought a hat to work, and
nice.
That's the little things that you set yourself up for success. But if you build the foundation, it's easier to maintain.
It doesn't have to be like a long walk. Sometimes people think like, all right, I got to go for a 60-minute walk here. It's like, no, just walk around the block. Yeah. Just go outside, walk around from this point to this point, do 15 minutes. By the time you go 8 minutes this way, just turn around and come back.
Yeah. And you even said to me, go to the corner.
Yeah.
Walk to the corner. And if you feel like going more, go more. And if you don't, just turn around.
Did you actually have moments like that where you got to the corner and you're like, okay, I'll turn around, or I'll keep going. Yeah.
Should I reveal my secrets?
Yeah, for sure.
There were a couple of times. Most of the time, the desire was there, and you put on your music and you get into it, and then you're like, well, I'm already out here, so I might as well. Yeah. But definitely there were a couple of days where I was like, I gave it a shot. I still got, a fresh air for 5 minutes to the corner, and that's my best for today.
That's perfect. But like those wins stack up. Yeah. Because that 10-minute walk resulted in you going for all the other walks after that. The 30-minute walks, the 45-minute walks, the other 10-minute walks that you've done versus I'm not even going to go out. And then that has also a chain effect of, okay, well, no, next time I'm not going to go out either. And then it just becomes like this thing where you just don't do it anymore. Right. Yeah. So just getting there, even if it's putting the boots on, taking 5 steps outside and then coming back in, that's already a huge win. Yeah. Right. I also challenged you to up your CrossFit intensity a bit.
Sure did.
And I would say the last 2 months, we really put a bigger push on it.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, hey, I know you like to do your at-home training session, but it's not the same. Yeah. So we got you to train 4 sessions a week.
5.
It was straight from 3. I think we got you to come 4 times at the beginning, and then it was 5. Like getting in that 5th session. And yeah, so tell me about that change in your fitness side of things, because it's a big difference going from 3 to 5 training sessions a week.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a schedule change, right? It's navigating, okay, where am I going to fit that in? And then once I figured out, okay,
because nobody has time, they make time.
Nobody has time. And let me clarify, I have no children.
Yeah.
I have no significant other.
You do have a dog though.
I do have a dog who hates going on walks, but demands my attention.
Yeah.
But so it's not that I have all of these crazy outlandish responsibilities. I'm just a normal person who doesn't have the extra hour lying around where I feel like going to the gym.
Yeah.
So schedule change was the first thing. And then just showing up. And in the beginning, it was rough. And by the time I got to that 5th day in the week, I was done, but I showed up.
Yeah. And
even if the 5th day was just getting through the workout, and maybe I'm not going to push myself, and maybe I'm not going to go on, the RX weight, but I'm still going to show up and I'm still going to do it. And even if I scale my box jumps to step ups, I still did 50 step ups.
Yeah.
And then it just, you build strength and you build momentum, and it just became easier and easier. And now it feels like the average week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you built a solid routine. What were you training 5 days in a row? Is that your routine?
Currently I'm training 5 days in a row.
What's your schedule?
Friday. Well, I don't know what day you start the week.
But like typically you do like your 5 days in a row is...
My 5 days is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. So you do Monday, Tuesday, you have Wednesday, Thursday off.
Yeah.
And then you go back Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but then it leads into the next week, which is also Monday, Tuesday.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha. That's awesome. That's a solid schedule. And yeah, like you said at the beginning, it's an adjustment. Just like going from no training to once a week is an adjustment, and going from 1 session per week to 3 sessions and 3 to 5, it's an adjustment, right? And then it becomes that routine, right? And that's kind of what you did for your nutrition as well. You started at one point, so we changed the quality, right? We started getting you to eat more protein. We started changing the quality of your food. We started bumping up your, non-exercise activity. We started bumping up your actual exercise activity.
Yeah.
And then we started changing like the quantities of your food, and not in a way where we were like significantly like eliminating food, but we were just more mindful of things like oils and fat, right? That was something that we kind of targeted early on. I was like, hey, like you're eating really healthy foods right now.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing that there is a lot more fat content in your meals, right? And fat is one of those foods that usually adds up like crazy in calories, but doesn't really fill us up.
Yeah.
For example, like nuts, right? Like you're putting a lot of like nuts in your yogurt and things like that. Even snacking on them. Yeah. When we cook with oils or cook with butters and things like that, like that adds a lot of calories, but it doesn't really change how full we are at the end of the day.
Salad dressings. Yeah,
that was a big one. So we just started making those quantity changes, and we started changing your like when you eat your carbohydrates, like pre-workout fuel, right? So making sure you're getting your carbohydrates before, after, making sure you're getting a protein shake in, making sure you're getting supplements in. So it was really like at the beginning we were focusing on like more macro stuff. Yeah. Like, hey, like let's get some protein in. Let's start changing the quality of our food. And then we started really diving into like the micro stuff, like, hey, let's make sure we're getting enough vitamin D. Let's make sure we're getting our protein shakes in. Let's make sure we're getting multivitamins and things like that, right? So it's pretty crazy to think that in that 6-month time frame, obviously we're losing weight. The process for Liv was every Friday she had to weigh herself. Yep. And then she would input it on the software. And every Friday I would get on that computer and be like, oh, let's go. And every Friday it was just like this trickle down. And there were some Fridays that was half a pound, and Liv would come in. I would typically see you on Friday or on Saturday. Yep. You come in and be like, I only lost like 0.5 pounds. I'm like, no, like that's really good. We're down 0.5 pounds, and there were also moments where
it was up there.
It was up. Right?
Or stayed the same.
right? And as a coach, you got to be like, hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Weight fluctuates, you know. I always say plus or minus 1 or 2 pounds. You know, it could just be you didn't go to the bathroom. It could be that, you know, maybe you had a treat dinner, a birthday dinner the night before, things like that. At one point you did have your birthday trip to Boston and stuff. But I think that was also something we can discuss, is that you were mindful on the outings.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your process. You had some trips lined up, some weddings, and you had things like that were lined up. So tell me a little bit about that.
I think I had 2 trips and 2 weddings from June to September, which is funny because that's probably the amount of time where I maybe lost the biggest chunk of weight, where I was like on a roll and in it. So it was not easy to go on vacation or go to a wedding and need to look at the options that I had available. I couldn't make what would be perfectly suitable for me and figure out, okay, what is the best option that I see in front of me? And if there is no good option, how do I account for that in the rest of my week? And how do I modify before or modify after? So, you know, go to a wedding, you want to have a couple of drinks. Okay, well, let me figure out what treats I'm going to reduce during the week, or let me cut down on, you know, the fats that I'm eating during the week so that I've banked, you know, some calories to account for the piece of cake or, you know, the couple of drinks of alcohol. And I think the other thing is everything in moderation, right? So in this process, the idea isn't to be so good and so strict and then go on a vacation and all hell breaks loose and you just eat like crap for a week, because then you're going to feel awful and you're going to be back at square one. So I think the idea of making the best choices with what I had available and adapting the rest of my time to account for it was the biggest thing and the biggest change, because, you know, 6 months ago, I would have just almost accepted the loss, I guess, and gone, well, I'm going to a wedding. This is what I have. Get to, you know, enjoy, and then not account for it in the days prior or the days after.
The days after,
Yeah.
Like wedding turns into brunch, which turns into another, well, you know what, we're already here. Let's just order out and get supper. Yeah. So
spiral effect.
Yeah. I'd also say something that I was really impressed with you is you, along with me and most people, like you do eat out in the week. Yeah. And you made some really good health choices along that journey. Yeah. Right? Like when you would go and eat out, it was you were trying to make the healthier decision of the foods that you were going out to eat. Yeah. Right? Like you would get Jasmine's or something like that, you know, which is a restaurant that has like
good protein.
Yeah, you can get chicken, rice, salad, and things like that. And even when you were going out with your friends, you were still being mindful of the choices that you would make, right? You would get the burger or whatever, but then you would get a healthier side. Yeah. Right? You get a salad instead of the French fries or things like that.
Yeah, because guys, newsflash, the fries are not that special. You don't have to get them every single time. They will taste the same the next time you get them.
Which is hard though. Yeah. But like that was something that I was thoroughly impressed with along the journey, is that you still ate out at least once a week. Yeah. But you made smarter decisions around the going out to eat, right? You would get the poke bowls. And then when you would get the poke bowls, you would get the healthier poke bowls. Instead of getting the fried you would get like the raw fish and, you know, healthier vegetables and stuff in it.
Sauce on the side so I can control how much I wanted of it.
Yeah. Which adds so many calories, but unnecessary calories sometimes. You actually don't need the whole sauce. You need maybe half the sauce. Yeah. And the sauce is 3, 4, sometimes up to 600 calories more, you know, and you're making that decision to like, hey, I have the sauce on the side and I'll have half of it. Right. So that was something I was really impressed with you on your ordering out aspect. So 6 months, you started, we finally weighed you in. That was bad coaching for me. I was like, hey, wait, we should probably weigh ourselves here, like 3 weeks in, and it was 165.
Yeah.
But you were closer to the 170 mark.
Yeah.
I think it was a month. No, what was the saying we had? It was 7. I wanted you
7 pounds in 7 weeks.
7 pounds in 7 weeks. So you got to a point where you were 146.
Yep.
146, and I said, like, hey, Liv, like, we're on this roll. We're losing a pound per week. I want to keep this up. I want to challenge you to lose 1 pound every week for the next 7 weeks, and that will officially bring us under the 140 pound mark.
Yeah.
So from 165-ish, maybe a little bit more, to
139.9 was the goal.
139.9 was the goal. And you did it in way faster time.
Yeah.
How long was that? Was it 4?
It may have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks. You lost those last 7 pounds. You were, was it the week before you got up to 140 point something?
Yeah.
And then I wrote to you, and I was like, all right, this is it. This is the week here. And the following week, I remember logging into my computer, like I got Tommy. No, actually, no, on Fridays, Tommy goes to daycare a little bit later. So Tommy is roaming around our kitchen here. Susie's still there. We're trying to get ready. And I was like, oh, first thing, I got to go check the laptop. And I go see it was like 7:30 in the morning. And I see like, was it 139?
139 on the dot.
On the dot, yeah. And I'm just screaming, let's go in the kitchen. And Susie's like, what? And I'm like, Liv got under 140 pounds. So that was a very cool moment.
And every time I do it, every time I get on the scale, I'm shocked. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't gain 5 pounds. I actually lost. Yeah.
It's very cool. That's very
crazy.
Cool. So you went from 165 to 139.
Yeah.
We had that conversation. I'm like, hey, there's nothing more that I can help provide for you at this point. We've cleaned up your meals. You've gained all this knowledge. Your activity level is at a really good rate. You need to keep this up. And now's the moment.
It's time.
It's time for you to fire me. And you did, which was freaking cool. It was a cool moment for both of us. But I also had a good conversation with you about, hey, this isn't the end.
Yeah.
You know, we don't go back to our old ways. And this is the thing about working with someone for 6 months, is that I know that this isn't like, okay, I did it type moment and I'm just going to go back to what I'm doing, because 6 months is a long time and a lot of hard work, and you've built serious habits into your routine.
Yeah.
And I also challenge you that, hey, like that body weight, the 139 is not your end goal.
Yeah.
I would love to see it closer to the 130 to 135 mark.
Yeah.
So it's been 2-ish weeks.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've incorporated or continue to do throughout this process over the last 2 weeks?
I have, well, the pictures have stopped, which has been so weird.
Yeah.
Almost inclined to do that.
Start
Just
sending Amy your photos.
Here's what
Amy,
I ate
tell
today.
me I'm doing good.
But I really have not changed anything. I have kept it exactly the same.
This is the answer I wanted, by the way.
Yes. I passed. Because it works. It worked and it will work, and it's sustainable. And I don't feel deprived, and I don't feel like I'm miserable, and I still get to enjoy when I go out. But my day-to-day is dialed in, and it's healthy, and it's nutritious, and it gets the macros that I need, and I'm satisfied when I go to bed. I'm not hungry.
That's awesome. You crushed it. You've been crushing it. You've been doing awesome. You've been the ideal client to be working with. You've just had an open mind, because nutrition is very, or like health in general, is very emotional.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional thing that we go through. And you came in with this blank canvas mindset, which I talked to everyone about. And you're like, okay, like, let me just show coach what I'm doing. And then let me just learn. And let me just try to make small applications week after week, month after month. And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I couldn't do it by myself. Obviously, I tried, and it didn't work for me. But, you know, if you're looking to lose weight and you don't know what you're doing, get help, because it is successful and it does work. And I think, you know, sometimes you kind of get into that mindset of like, well, maybe I just can't. Like, maybe I just can't lose weight. Like, maybe it's not for me.
Yeah.
That's wrong. You just need guidance and you need accountability and you need tips that you don't know.
Wow, that was awesome. I think a lot of people will hear that, and I think that'll change their mindset a lot, because some people are just really stuck, right?
Yeah.
And you were really stuck 6 months ago, and I'm talking to this person. This person's in front of me, and it's like, man, this person just needs the guidance.
Yeah.
And I know which path. I'm like, hey, come over here. Come down this path. Take my hand. I'm gonna come down this path. Come join me. But I can't walk the steps for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I can show you the path and I can try to push you down that path. But at the end of the day, you got to take the steps. And what you did over the last 6 months is incredible. Like losing 25 pounds. I would say like just losing the 25 pounds in itself is great. But all the other things that came from it, to me, I was seeing this girl who was just so tired all the time, not recovering from her workouts. You can tell when you were actually doing your conditioning pieces, you had no juice.
I was dying.
Yeah, like you were on the bike, you were on the cardio machine, and I'm like, let's go, Liv. Like you can do it, and I could just see like there was nothing in your tank. And I see that with a lot of people. I'm like, this person just isn't fueled properly. Yeah. Like if this person changed how they ate, they would be feeling so much better in their workouts, right? And I was witnessing that. I was like, the most noticeable times are when you're on the cardio machines. Yeah. You're on the cardio machines and you're just like dragging your feet on the pedals here. Yeah. I'm like, come on, Liv, we got this, you know?
I thought I just wasn't a cardio person.
Yeah.
I thought I just can't do cardio. It's not my thing.
Yeah. And beyond just the cardio element, your strength numbers, like they're going up like crazy. And beyond that, I would also say your movement, the way you move, your movement quality, your efficiency in movement. Yeah. I mean, just your squat alone. Yeah. Right? You're someone who's had a hard time getting into deep ranges of motion in your squat, and your squat looks great right now. Yeah. Right? Your overall weights on the bars and your dumbbells and the things that you're lifting is going up. Yeah. When we say RX is 35 pounds, you go grab that 35 pound now.
Sure do.
You know, I found myself this last 6 months being like, Liv, you don't have to go with the RX weight. Right. You know, like you can peel weight off. It's okay. Yeah. You know, and I found myself having to do that more than the previous 6 months before that, where I was like, Liv, like we got to add some weight on the bar. Yeah. You know, like let's go. Come on. So I found myself noticing huge differences in your performance side of the workout. Your sleep, your energy after sleep was so much better, your productivity, all those things. And like the weight itself is great, but all the other elements outside the gym, you killed it. And that's what I'm looking for as a coach as well. So I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Do you have any like last minute things you want to say on the program here?
I would just say that it's not easy to dial in your fitness, to look at your nutrition, but it doesn't take something special. I didn't have some special thing. I wasn't predisposed genetically to be at a slim weight, and I didn't have this already established super strong cardio where I was a beast in the gym and just had to dial in. Like, you don't need to have something special to start. You just have to start.
Well said.
Thanks.
Well said. Love that. I love that. Okay. You're no stranger to the pod.
Nope.
We end every episode, are you ready, with a client of the week.
So ready. Does Susie have a sound effect for this part?
No, you got to do it.
I don't know what it is.
You don't know that?
I only know the trend or trash one.
No, you got to do the pew pew.
Pew 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 pew.
There we go. All right. Liv narrowed it down to a couple people. I don't know who she's chosen, so tell us who your client of the week is, Liv.
Should I describe them first, or should I give their name right off the bat?
You should describe them first.
Okay. This athlete, this client, I have watched for a few years, but in the last, I would say, couple of months, has really shown up with eagerness and and just a massive amount of confidence when she walks up to a bar, and has been hitting some PRs in her weights and wants to lift heavy. And I did deadlifts with her last week and she hit over 200 pounds.
Hell yeah.
And that client is Lilly.
Woo! Shout out Lilly. Wow, that's a very cool nomination. Lilly is one of the 4 family members.
Yeah.
So we got Evie, Bernard, Noah, and Lilly, of course. And she is
13.
13. I always forget this. She's 13. Noah's 12.
Yeah.
And 13 years old. Over 200 pounds. Do you remember the number exactly? I think it was 210.
I think it was 210 too.
Yeah, 210 pound on the deadlift. She came over to me. I think it was the next day, actually. I was like folding the gym towels or whatever. She's like, hey, I hit 210 on the deadlift yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. So shout out to Lilly. I feel like the biggest thing I've seen, the biggest change I've seen in Lilly has been her mindset over the last year.
She is determined.
Yeah.
And whatever she does today is going to set in motion.
Can you imagine starting at 13 years old?
Yeah. Well, I kind of did. And
exactly.
It works for you. Keep at it.
Hopefully in 13 years from now, I'll be having a podcast with Lilly and she'll be talking about her journey through CrossFit. So thank you so much, Liv, for coming on. You're an awesome client here. We really appreciate you. We also really appreciate you with Thomas.
Yeah, my pleasure. He is.
So we never actually talked about it. We'll do really quick here.
Okay,
but
super fast.
Liv, for her job, she is a
speech language pathologist, also known as speech therapist, aka Miss Rachel in real life.
Yes, and Tommy loves Miss Rachel. We don't do too much screen time with our little one, but Tommy loves Miss Rachel, so we had Liv babysit one time, and I knew that you were a speech therapist. I didn't know like how old you worked with kids, and Tommy freaking loves Liv.
It was
and
the
then she's
best.
like, I'm kind of like Miss Rachel in real life, and I was like, that totally makes sense now. If you guys don't know who Miss Rachel is, she is a YouTube. She's a person that has a YouTube channel, and she makes videos for kids.
Yeah. Well, she started because one of her kids needed speech therapy, and she took all the tips and tricks that she learned, and she now sells them for free.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about for free. She puts that stuff on YouTube. She has like 30 million subscribers on YouTube.
Crazy.
So she's on Netflix now and everything.
Yeah, but I'm more qualified, just in case we were unsure.
I think we need to make you a YouTube channel. That's what we need. We're going to start talking about business after this.
Yeah. All
right, Liv, thank you so much. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed Liv's story, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Oh, you beat me to it.